And the interesting thing was, I'm going to share with you tonight, is I'm going to train you on some very practical things that you can actually use to apply tonight when you leave in your own life. I've made a ton of mistakes. And I can tell you what not to do. I'm sure Dan can tell you as well what not to do. But I'm going to share with you tonight in terms of mindset that it's your daily method of operation from the time that you wake up in the morning until the time that you go to bed at night. What do you do during the waking hours of your day? And the thing is you're going to find is that being successful is quite boring. Doing the routine habits is quite boring. It's repetitive. There's certain things. But the thing is, what I've learned, one of the key things is from my travel over, and I was just in Africa, and I'm going back to Africa here in a little over a week's time, that we live in one of the greatest countries in the world. And what I encourage you to do, those of you in the room that are younger, or those of you who are more seasoned or older, go travel. It will change your perspective on life. When you walk into a rural African village in a little straw hut with a mother and father and a couple of children, you're living on grasshoppers and crickets, insects, rodents, bugs, whatever they can eat to survive for the day, it changes your life. When you walk into an African village and you see big vultures flying overhead, and you see women with their little children that you see in the National Geographic, you see in the television shows and the infomercials, and you see women going to put their children on the side of the road because they can't afford to feed them, and then 30 minutes later the vultures come down and eat the children like chicken. And 30 minutes later there's a carcass of a baby laying there. It changed your mindset in terms of a greater calling, a greater purpose in life. And I've seen that. I've seen dumpsters full of babies. And when you see that, it causes you to get up and work in the morning, to hustle, to grind, to grit, to make no excuses, to be proactive. And so one of the things I want to share with you is something that I've studied for quite a number of years of being around a lot of influential people. Is a jar like this. You can get it at the dollar store, Walmart. It can be glass or plastic. This is my gratitude jar. And I take notes. Airline tickets, hockey. This is I've already got my new one for this year. But this is my jar from 2014, from last year. And it's interesting because there was things in this jar that I didn't think I could achieve. There's places I traveled to that I didn't think I was ever going to go there. And there's things that I accomplished. And what I do is I take notes, airline tickets, concert tickets, hockey game tickets, things people say to you, things I've done, and I put them in this jar throughout the calendar year. And on January the 1st of every year, well, this year I was just down the street at the Fairmont Pacific Rim Hotel. I went and spent 4 hours by myself on January the 1st. And I dumped out all the notes, and I read throughout all the notes throughout the whole year. And there was things I did in January, February, March, June, September I completely forgot about. Things that were incredibly challenging to overcome in my life. And then all of a sudden I realized I achieved it. And for those of you in this room, what I've learned in my life is that how you measure your life as you get older is through the word called progress. And some of you realize as you get older, you think, my life's not changed much. Until you document it, and you have a paper trail of physical evidence like notes, airline tickets, concert tickets, things that people have said to you. You put that in there, it changes the game for you in terms of mindset. And when you start your day of the new year, it's amazing what can happen for you. So I want to encourage you to start doing a gratitude jar. For those of you who have children, start your children on a gratitude jar. Start mentoring and modeling to your children about the importance of gratitude. Would you want to do business with somebody who's grateful? Absolutely. You start to vibrate. There's a lady earlier got up and talked about the law of attraction. Imagine starting your day off. So what I do when I first wake up in the morning is I start my day as my daily method of operation with an attitude of gratitude. First thing I do in the morning. Some of you may pray, some of you may meditate. First thing I do is I start with an attitude of gratitude. What am I most grateful for in my life today? Some of you always ask me, where do you get all that energy from? It's either medication or meditation. It's a choice. Right? The thing is, though, is that what I do is I focus on things that I'm most grateful for or blessed in my life. I don't watch the news unless I'm on it, right? And so the thing is that, and by the way, I don't watch news, I make news. That's the difference between being at a higher level out here, is you make the news happen. Okay, you make the news. How is you as an entrepreneur, a business owner, something, how do you make the news versus right, watch the news. And so one of the things you look at is that when you first start your day is I start with an attitude of gratitude.